Nigel Farage has delivered a stunning early blow to both Labour and the Conservatives, scoring a decisive victory in the general elections that has sent shockwaves through Westminster. The Reform UK leader, often dismissed as a political outsider, has once again proven his ability to connect with disillusioned voters and reshape the political landscape. His party's strong showing highlights a seismic shift in British politics, as traditional party loyalties crumble and Reform UK's message of bold change and accountability strikes a chord with an increasingly frustrated electorate. For Labour and the Tories, this result is a stark warning. The status quo is no longer acceptable. Now watch this video.
You're there now.
How many more to go? In fact,
We've done it. We're through. We're through. How about that? The official opposition. It's going to be a long day.
Reform UK has achieved a monumental milestone, surpassing 131,680 members and overtaking the Conservatives, a symbolic and strategic victory for Nigel Farage's insurgent party. This dramatic shift exposes the Conservatives' declining grassroots support, which has plummeted from 172,000 in 2022, driven by growing dissatisfaction with Rishi Sunak's leadership and years of perceived stagnation. Reform UK is now capitalizing on this discontent, positioning itself as the new home for disillusioned Tory voters and filling the ideological void on the right of British politics. Nigel Farage, a political juggernaut with a proven track record of mobilizing disenfranchised voters during the Brexit movement, is spearheading this charge. His message of returning Britain to greatness and rejection of globalist policies resonates deeply with those alienated by mainstream parties. Farage is emerging as the central figure of a revitalized political right, strategically positioning himself to shape discourse and potentially lead a coalition of MPs aligned with Reform UK's populist agenda. For the Conservatives, this development deepens an existential crisis. Struggling to balance moderate and hardline factions, the party risks alienating its traditional base, while Reform UK siphons off support. A divided centre right vote only strengthens Labour's hand, creating a path to victory for Starmer's party in key battlegrounds. However, a resurgent Reform UK could become a thorn in Labour's side by spotlighting contentious issues like immigration and net zero policies, forcing Labour to confront vulnerabilities within its working-class base. The political stakes couldn't be higher. Both Labour and the Conservatives are under fire for failing to address pressing concerns like immigration, economic stagnation, and the erosion of national identity. Reform UK's rise reflects a broader appetite for political alternatives, particularly among younger voters and those in disenchanted Tory strongholds. If Farage's party sustains its momentum, it won't just challenge the two-party system, it could permanently reshape the political landscape of Britain. Kemi Badenoch has fired a sharp salvo at Nigel Farage, accusing him of digital deception with a biting Christmas tweet, suggesting that Reform UK's membership counter is nothing more than a fake clock, designed to artificially tick upward. Badenoch claims her team has been monitoring the back-end activity for days. She alleges that Farage's team altered the code to redirect attention as critics began to uncover the supposed ruse. In a pointed jab, she concludes that Farage is out of his depth in the digital age, asserting that this kind of fakery gets found out pretty quickly, although not before many are fooled. The tweet not only challenges the legitimacy of Reform UK's claimed milestone, but also paints Farage as a relic of the past, an accusation likely to ignite another fiery exchange in an already volatile political rivalry. Zia Yusuf's announcement of Reform UK's record breaking membership surge following Kemi Badenoch's tweet is nothing short of a political earthquake, underscoring both the party's rapid ascent and the mounting challenges facing the Conservatives. By achieving the highest single-day growth in its history, Reform UK has demonstrated an extraordinary ability to mobilize disillusioned voters, capitalizing on dissatisfaction with the mainstream political establishment. The timing couldn't be more telling. While Badenoch's tweet was presumably aimed at discrediting Reform UK, Yusuf's sharp rejoinder, "Thank you for your service," transforms it into a political misstep that inadvertently fueled Reform's appeal. This clever reframing not only mocks the Conservatives' digital savvy, but also underscores Reform UK's agility in turning controversy into opportunity. It's a masterclass in political strategy, amplifying the party's prodigy, amplifying the party's profile while reinforcing its narrative as the real opposition to Labour. For the Conservatives, the implications are dire. Their shrinking grassroots base, compounded by internal division symbolized by figures like Badenoch, leaves them vulnerable to defections. Reform UK has seized this moment, presenting itself as a more unified and focused alternative, particularly on hot-button issues like immigration, sovereignty, and cultural identity. As where the Conservatives appear increasingly out of touch, Reform UK's rise doesn't just threaten the Tories, it challenges Labour as well. By addressing voter concerns that both major parties have ignored, Reform UK positions itself as a populist force capable of siphoning support from Labour's working class stronghold. Farage and Yousaf's ability to frame political controversies as endorsements of their movement further strengthens their appeal, signaling a potential realignment of the center, right, and working class vote. This surge isn't just about numbers. It's a reflection of a broader political shift. Voters disillusioned with the status quo are flocking to Reform UK, seeing in it a bold alternative to the perceived stagnation of the Conservatives and Labour. Badenoch's miscalculation highlights the Tories' vulnerability to self-inflicted wounds, an issue Reform UK is adept at exploiting. Ultimately, Zia Yousaf's declaration marks a watershed moment for Reform UK, solidifying its status as a credible challenger in British politics. The next challenge will be converting this momentum into electoral victories and proving its staying power as more than just a protest movement. If Reform UK can maintain its trajectory, it may well reshape the political landscape, forcing both major parties to reckon with an increasingly fragmented and dissatisfied electorate.
It's about winning elections. Governments get in and, and things are very tough.
Keir's proving that right now, isn't he?
Oh dear.
You seem pretty jubilant right now for, it seems like potentially at least a change in the conversation as to make
I'm not jubilant. My feet are very much on the ground. Very much on the ground. But I'm pleased.
Yeah, but you're noticing that switch and a bit of a conversation surrounding you guys. Yeah.
I think, don't forget, the jungle drums are beating. They know. The other MPs know what's going on in their patch. And they're seeing something different to UKIP. Very different to UKIP. In terms of scale, it's very, very different.
Interesting.
It feels 3 times the size UKIP ever was.
Nigel Farage's visit to Clacton on Sea offers a compelling snapshot of why Reform UK is gaining momentum and how Farage's personal brand is resonating with voters. Far from the detached image of mainstream politicians, Farage's ability to engage with locals at the Christmas market, even among those who haven't supported Reform UK, highlights his relatability. Whether posing for photos or sharing festive cheer, Farage exudes an authenticity that cuts through political cynicism. Comments from attendees, like a psychic predicting his success and a nurse voicing agreement with his policies, illustrate a willingness to engage with his message, even from skeptics. This grassroots connection cements Farage's image as a man of the people, a critical asset in earning the trust of disenfranchised voters. Discussions with locals revealed widespread discontent with Labour's first 6 months under Keir Starmer, exposing a stark gap between Labour's promises and its ability to inspire confidence. At the same time, the Conservatives' waning support in areas like Clacton creates fertile ground for Reform UK to establish itself. While both major parties wrestle with internal strife and a lack of direction, Farage's plain-spoken, no-nonsense approach appeals to those who feel overlooked. Reform UK is adeptly capitalizing on this dissatisfaction, offering a clear alternative to voters alienated by the political establishment. Clacton, on Sea, epitomizes the struggles and potential of Britain's neglected coastal towns, and Farage's focus on its miles of sand and amazing pier reflects a broader narrative of revitalizing these communities. By championing areas that have been ignored by successive governments, Farage taps into a potent mix of local pride and frustration. This strategic focus on underserved regions sets him apart as a leader who prioritizes the needs of everyday people, a sharp contrast to the perceived detachment of metropolitan politics dominated by Labour and the Conservatives. While critics often dismiss Reform UK as a populist vehicle, Farage's interactions in Clacton suggest a more calculated and sophisticated strategy. His ability to address community-specific concerns and embody both the frustrations and aspirations of ordinary Britons underscores his political acumen. Reform UK's rise reflects a deeper hunger for change, particularly from voters seeking a voice for their concerns. Farage's knack for relatability enhances his party's image as a credible alternative to the entrenched two-party system. The choice of a Christmas market and a seafront office is more than coincidental. It underscores Farage's mastery of political symbolism. These settings project an image of a leader grounded in community roots and tradition, while Labour and the Conservatives remain bogged down in policy debates and internal discord. Farage's focus on visible grassroots engagement presents a refreshing contrast. His ability to blend political messaging with personal connection not only enhances his appeal, but positions Reform UK as a genuine force for change in British politics. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with our latest videos and stay ahead of the curve on the issues shaping our world. For even more, join our free Telegram group, link in the description, for uncensored, no-holds-barred discussions on the topics that matter most. Be part of the conversation. Your voice counts.